All right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the show. I'm excited. I have my new friend, Betska K-Burr, with me. So, Betska, welcome to the show. Why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Well, thank you. I live on Vancouver Island, Canada, a little town called Ladysmith, and I am in the business of executive and life and business coaching. I am a best-selling Canadian author of many books. I am a trainer. We train people around the world to be coaches and life coaches, do leadership training, and I'm a mom. And guess what, Jeff? 2 days ago, I became a grandmother.
Wow, congratulations. So
Yeah.
all the spoiling with none of the work, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We're so excited. My husband and I, it's our first grandchild. It's a grandson.
Very cool.
And you're going to get a kick out of this because they sent us pictures from the hospital. His name is Henry Douglas Trudell. So think of Henry. And then they sent us a picture, and someone had put a chocolate bar across his blanket that said, "Oh, Henry."
Of course.
I
Why
laughed.
not, right?
Oh, exactly. It's just too much fun.
I love that. And it's sad that I think some people won't get that. But being Canadian, it resonates with me. I get it. So congratulations on becoming a grandmother and enjoy the grandbaby. It's my eldest turns 15 next week, and I can't believe where the time has gone. So
I know, I know. Precious, precious, precious years. And so, yes, we're flying out to Ontario to Babyland to look after the baby while the parents recover.
love it. And that is, mostly mom, obviously, but dad probably needs a little recovery time too. So
Yes, oh, yes, I think so. They're very close, these guys. So, yeah,
I love it. Well, let's talk about, first of all, I want to talk about your brooch. So you mentioned that you are a coach.
yes.
Um, we can't ignore the brooch, but let's talk about you, your background, and then I want to talk about the latest book you've got coming out that we need to share with people.
Okay, cool. Well, I could share my story, and I think I will, but the first thing I want to say is that when I was going through my healing journey, it was very difficult to find modalities that work, that really work. And when we look at the world today, what do we see? We see war, we see war about to blossom into war. We see prostitution, drug running, um, violence and killing everywhere. I mean, the list goes on. And so Jeff, I when I look at our world, I think, what's wrong with the healing modalities that we have? They're clearly not working.
Hmm.
They're not. So now I'm going to go back to my story. I developed the science of mind kinetics for coaching and leadership. And I developed it for me first. Why? Because I come from an abusive childhood and early years in my 20s in corporate. The usual men got all of the promotions, and I was always pushed under the rug with um, a lot of women, but also a lot of men got pushed under the rug, even though they were very qualified. So there was some discrimination there. Some of my friends are Sikhs, for example, with turbans, and they never got the job because they were wearing a turban, that sort of
Yeah.
idea. So, getting back to our daughter had just been born, and I found myself, even though I was a senior executive in an international company, I was the only woman on the executive team at the time, and I just had our daughter, and I became bankrupt. Not financially, thank God, but bankrupt emotionally, intellectually, spiritually, and physically. The pain in my lower back was so strong. it was difficult for me to get out of a chair. And I was in my mid 30s, so what was that about?
Yeah.
And then emotionally, I felt like my head was all fuzzy and I couldn't understand, here I am, a senior executive, and I am fuzzy. My head's fuzzy. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And because of that, intellectually, I felt fuzzy, and so on and so forth. So I struggled for 2 years. I in the city what we were living in at the time, I saw shiatsu massage specialists. I saw Chinese medicine, acupuncture, and so on. I saw them all, and they were able to keep me somewhat steady, but not healed. And when I went
Right.
to my medical doctor, she basically said, after doing a bunch of tests, there's nothing wrong with you. I said, well, if there's nothing wrong with me, why is my head fuzzy and why is my back so sore?
Yeah.
What's really going on? And I said, you have to be able to help me. I don't know where else to turn. So she said, well, and actually, I was the one who suggested a therapist. So she found me a stress therapist, but it didn't feel right. Jeff, sometimes you just know it doesn't feel right.
Yeah.
So I said no to that. And then the universe brought along this wonderful woman. Her name was Jan Sweeney. She's since gone to heaven, but she was the very first person to help me look inside at a subconscious level, what was unconscious, the hidden parts of me that I didn't know existed. Why was the pain there? Why was my head fuzzy? Why was my back pain there? All
Right.
those, all so all those root causes, these patterns started to come out, and I was blown away by her work. So I asked her to teach me how to do it, and within 6 weeks, I was in her classroom, and she taught me some basics. And while my husband and daughter were asleep, I would work on myself, coach myself an hour and a half to 2 hours every night. I wanted to find out what was going on in my subconscious mind that I was blind to
Yeah.
that was causing me all these challenges. I found them and I kicked them out. And after around 3.5 months, something like that, um, my back pain never returned.
Love it.
So that's the moral of the story is the power of the subconscious mind. So from that, as I was clearing out the debris, these negative thoughts in my subconscious mind, I started to develop more and more of similar tools to what Janet taught me. So today I've developed over 80 um, mind kinetics methodologies that heal the mind, body, and spirit. I'll give you an example. If someone, um, whatever issue they have, we can take them into their subconscious mind and in less than 5 seconds help them find the root cause event, the age first,
Yeah.
find the age of some event that happened in their past. And then we find the pattern. Well, what pattern are you continuing to repeat? What's the negative belief you have? And then in a 90-minute session, we switch it. We switch it from a negative to a positive, anchor the positive in the subconscious, and kick the negative out. That's the power of the science that we've developed.
I love that. And, I think I'm not a huge fan of talk therapy, and I'm not saying it doesn't work for some people. But for me personally, I know for a fact that I didn't create the problem here. I created it down in my feelings. So if I'm just up here talking, I'm not feeling and I'm not getting into the subconscious level. And, it's kind of polishing the outer edges and not getting into where the real root causes are. Is that fair?
Very fair to say, and it can. I spend a lot of my time in corporate as an executive and life coach and training there as well. And to me, the CEO can start off by saying, Betska, I want to get coaching on my leadership competencies, strategic planning and time mastery and so on and so forth. And inevitably, somewhere in the coaching process, he will say, um, you know, can you help me with my relationship with my wife or with my kids or with my health? And and they hire me and our coaches around the world because we don't just do boardroom type of coaching. We will go deeper inside the human psyche. So whether you are a CEO of a company, a director, VP, or middle manager, or you're a stay at home mom and dad or a teenager, we all have these blind spots.
Yeah.
It's probably a better way to, we all have these blind spots, and therefore we have difficulty connecting with our sadness or our depression or our issues. And it goes all the way down to I'm coaching a young man right now who's going through psychosis. Some pretty severe psychosis, and he has counseling and counselors and psychiatrists working with him who dole out the drugs. But I'm the one who takes him deeper into his emotional, intellectual, spiritual, physical causes of his psychosis. You see?
Yeah.
So I'm just giving you that wide range. Or I had a therapist once a counselor who was having trouble getting pregnant, and she tried everything. And she had heard about me through somewhere, and she came to have some mind kinetics work done. And then a year later, she wrote to me and she said, Betska, you know how we were working on, I would really like to have a baby? She said, well, I didn't just have one, I had twins. So to get double her money.
Charge her an extra baby fee or something.
Yeah, really.
I love it. Now, I understand that you've recently, or you're in the process of releasing a book. Do you want to talk about that book for a moment?
Yes. The book is called Unleashing Potential Strategies for Life Mastery. It's published by Pixel Publishing, Pixel. And the publishing company asked if I would like to be one of the authors of this new book, Unleashing Potential. It's a nice title. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Unleashing Potential Strategies for Life Mastery. So 17 of us have gathered together. We each wrote a chapter, and it's a combination of we discuss, well, in the book, my chapter is on mind kinetics because clearly that's my expertise. Some people have written about NLP in there. Others are writing about self-awareness, how to be more aware of who you are, and so on and so forth. So some very senior and knowledgeable coaches from different countries. There's a person from Romania, a person from India. I forget, all different types, all kinds of different countries who have come together to write this book, and it's very good. I would recommend everyone buy a copy because I mean, just the title alone is intriguing.
Absolutely. Now, where can people find this book and when is it available?
It's available now,
Okay.
and I have given you the link for your people to order it, and they can order a PDF, they can order a Kindle or a soft cover book, and right at that link they can make a choice of which one they would like.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's very good. It's what I love about the book is that it has a wide range of topics and a wide range of ways for us to look at ourselves. Because if you're unleashing your potential, it has to go beyond the intellect. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's, I tell people that, if you're not curious, you're never going to reach your full potential. And I think that's,
Mm.
I was raised with the phrase "curiosity killed the cat" ringing in my ears, and I'm like, what did the cat ever do to curiosity? But
Yeah, really, eh?
that's a mean saying, but I firmly believe that, being curious and, for you, I imagine, your pain and your suffering led you to be more open to being curious and open to trying things, I can't help but feel like our lives would be better if we could learn and try new things and find these things without having to get stuck in the pain for a while.
Yes, that's a valid point. I think many leaders will go through the pain because then they have the compassion, they have the empathy for. I know I'm a far better coach because I've been through corporate pain. I've been through, the different pains I had in my childhood, including sexual abuse.
Yeah,
So when you've gone through that and you've overcome the pain, then you can more greatly help someone. But I
yeah,
know I also can work with people when I have not suffered their issues.
yeah.
So, you know, yeah.
So let's talk about your main role. You train coaches. How do people reach you? How can they get to know you and maybe explore what you offer?
Mm.
And more importantly, how do they get that brooch? Because that's really what this is about, right?
It's about my brooch. I would invite them all to go to our website, coachingandleadership.com. So, coaching, COACHING, and then AND, leadership.com. And there they will see um, a button for choose a coach if they're interested in hiring a mind kinetics coach. And there's also coach training. And please forgive our website. It's very old and we are working at it diligently. It's just that our IT guy is very, uh, he's so busy, but he's finally finding time for us. So that's great. And and then for me, if they wanted to email me at Betska, BETS, as in Sarah, KA, at coachingandleadership.com.
I love it. And I'll put those links in for everybody. Now, let's talk a little bit. So I love the website that clearly you've been online for a while because good luck getting that now, right?
I know, that's right, exactly.
Total tangent, but once upon a time, I knew somebody that knew somebody. Um, he lived in Penticton, and way back in the early days of the internet gold rush, he bought virusandantivirus.com. And he just sat there and checks came to him. People paid him. All he did was he sold affiliate things on his website and he just made money whether he was awake or asleep because he saw the value of the internet. And, just imagine trying to get a oneword.com domain today, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we got ours very, very early, and I doubt we'll ever sell it because it's a very powerful URL. Yeah.
I think it was mastermind.com. Russell Brunson bought it for something like $1 million and gifted it to Tony Robbins just so that they could become partners.
Wow. That's so cool.
That's a great story. If you're ever bored, just search on YouTube because Russell Brunson talks about how he became a partner with Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi. And you don't see that in business where people, I'm going to give you this $1 million website because I want to be your partner. Usually it's, hey, what's in it for me? So
Yeah, exactly. Now, there's another interesting story about what Tony Robbins has done for the world. Yeah.
absolutely. I'd love your take on that.
Well, he made NLP famous, for
Hmm.
example. I remember he came to Canada. It was actually in British Columbia, might even have been Kelowna or something like that. And there was a woman who was frightened of snakes. So he called her up to the podium and did some NLP on her, and apparently she lost her fear of snakes. So that's the power of the subconscious mind. So there are some giants out there who also understand the power of what's hidden inside and how to dig it out.
Hmm.
Um, so I just feel very blessed to know people who do some very deep work. Because, I mean, Jeff, nobody wants to suffer,
No.
do they? No.
Some choose to, but they don't necessarily want to. Does that make us? That's my
Yeah.
observation.
Well, and again, they may choose to because they want to stay a victim for some reason or other.
Yeah.
But we will go into the subconscious and find that out anyway. Help them find that. Oh, because some people will say, I I can't believe I want to be a victim. Well, there are benefits to being a victim,
Yeah.
aren't there?
What's the payoff? What's the trade-off?
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah. What are we learning? Well, if I stay a victim, then I don't have to go to work. My husband is the one who has to go and make the money, or vice versa,
Yeah.
right? Mm-hmm. So all of these things are important. But Jeff, I know you're supposed to be asking me questions, but I'm curious about, um, your organization is Global Wellness HQ. What have you learned since running this podcast for the last 3 years? What have you learned about health?
It's so many things, but I can actually boil it down. And I think some of the dead simple things that I've heard time and time again, believe it or not, the most important things I've heard are breathe better, drink more water, and surround yourself with better people.
Uh-huh.
And mostly it's, and I think this is a unanimous theme. If we don't do the work on ourselves, we can't possibly be our best selves. And and I think that's an important thing. I deal with a lot of successful entrepreneurs who have squandered their health to build their wealth, and now they're trying to figure out how to have more impact. And what they are realizing, and it's a fascinating thing, is they need to work on their mental health and their mental wellness. Because a lot of times, and I think this has been something that fascinates me, everybody's looking for an outside fix. What's the magic pill, the silver bullet, the easy button? And honestly, this annoys a lot of people, but what I'm finding over and over and over is the people who figured out true wellness found it right here.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly. So, that kind of leads me to the conversation of the universal laws of leadership, personal and professional leadership. And when we're teaching it at our school, the very first law is the law of service. The more I can love and serve myself, the better I can love and service others.
yeah. And if you don't, and it is eerie because I have this conversation more than I would probably care to count, but it's a good conversation. A lot of people, especially successful leaders, they've gone through personal burnout because they're giving, giving, giving. And by the way, this is also I know a lot of moms that they get burnt out because they give, give, give.
Hmm.
And that's a big thing. You got to remember to unplug and recharge.
Hmm. It's a big one. Did you know, Jeff, that women have between 2 and 5% more nurturing quality than men?
It wouldn't surprise me.
Mm. That's what my spiritual teacher says. And when someone asked her, well, why does she say that? And she's always so logical. And the answer that came out was women are hardwired to give birth to children. Right?
Yeah.
I know the men have play a big role in it, but it's the women who have to carry it, right? And then, you know, we are
Arguably
the
do
main.
way more work just getting to delivery.
Exactly. Oh my God. Our daughter just had 10 hours of labor and I went through 24. So my God, big difference. But anyway, so um, because women have more nurturing ability, we can more readily connect with who we are. But that doesn't relate to all women around the world because uh, there are many women who are born left brain dominant. which is off, in the old days we called it the male mind, right? The
Mhm.
logical mind, and then the right brain is the intuitive brain, the connection to spirit, and so on and so forth. But then the same thing can happen with men. I know some very creative men, artists. Oh, they're just fabulous at what they do. But to get them to run a business is very difficult. Can be
Yeah.
very difficult. So, yeah, I know what you're saying. So I think the biggest thing, and that's one of the chapters on unleashing potential, is that word awareness, self awareness, using tools and methods. So the book will teach us that. How do we get in touch with what's really going on inside and not slide it under the rug, so that we really get to know ourselves? And one thing we haven't even talked about here, Jeff, is prayer and meditation, and how important that is.
Well, and honestly, and I love your opinion on it. I think we've disconnected from the the higher source, and I find it fascinating. I'm not in any of the 12-step recovery programs, but one of the steps is reconnecting with the higher power, whether you call it God, the universe. Um, but a lot of people and a lot of people have gotten clean because they stopped looking inside, trying to fix what was broken, and they focused on reconnecting not just with God or the higher purpose, but also with themselves and with others around them.
Yeah, they kind of turn their life over to their higher power. Yeah,
Yeah,
trusting in that higher power instead of, using staying in their small self.
yeah,
They moved into their higher power, their higher self. And that's basically what, we do here at Coaching and Leadership is every session we take someone from their lower power to their higher power, whatever you want to call that higher power.
yeah,
Different religions or non-religions, faiths, that they all call it something different, and that's
yeah.
fine. It's all the same place. It's the place where you love yourself the most.
Yeah.
And
And honestly, Betska, I feel like we're finite beings trying to explain an infinite universe with really, really limited words and things. And a lot of people want to fight over my religion's better than yours. And it's like I feel like perhaps they're all one and the same, but we're all trying to describe this multidimensional being from our perspective and our limited, line of sight. And it's like you could be describing the same thing. You're just looking at the front, I'm looking at the back or the top, the bottom.
it's really true. And that image you have on your screen there of that's you in an astronaut suit, right? So it's
Yeah,
kind of like the same analogy if you're out in space and all the astronauts go, "Wow, that's planet Earth down there. That's the blue planet," right? You
yeah.
seeing That's always my job, is to help people see things from a different perspective. And because of that, you become more and more aware of who you are, and therefore you can truly heal your mind, body, and spirit. And I've done it for myself. And believe me, folks, I continue to work on myself because it's never ending. And now I'm going to be working on being a great grandmother. Yes.
I love it. I love it. Well, young Henry is very lucky to have an amazing grandmother, and I think you're going to have some fun. So, now I want to be mindful of your time. You're the expert at being Betska. Is there something I should have asked you that I haven't yet before we wrap up and I send you back to your day?
The only thing I can think of here, Jeff, is I've got clients in 50 plus countries. Um, and they have come with a variety of issues, such as I said, leadership competencies, time mastery, communication, strategic planning, recognition and praise, team building, all that stuff. And then there are people on the other end of the spectrum who are suffering from abuse, and um, addictions, like that area. We are not therapists, so we don't go and invite someone to sit on our couch or sit in a chair for, for those types of issues. We have a different approach to them, and it's very healing. So we can work alongside of therapists, psychiatrists, psychologists, and sometimes our work is incredibly valuable for the professionals because we are mind, body, spirit. You see?
Which is the tagline for our podcast.
Ah, so that's why it's just so the end of that really is the only people that we cannot help are people who have uh, gone beyond into the area of schizophrenia where they cannot make their own decisions.
I
But
love that.
any health issues, anything in your life, give us a call and we'll let you know if we can help you. Usually, we can say yes because of what I just said. I've been doing this since 1997. It's a
Wow.
long time. And our coaches around the world have amazing skills, and we're here to love and support you, help you heal mind, body, spirit. So, and keep coming back to Jeff's show. He runs a great show.
Well, I paid her to say that, folks. But thank you very much. So, Betska, thanks for being on the show. I'll have your contact details in the notes, but thank you for sharing your wisdom with my audience.
Well, thank you, and thank you to all of you for listening, and may you have a wonderful 2024 and beyond.